Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Mama, please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. Friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. Let's get down to business. Back and forth with the bullshit. I know I said it before, I don't mean it. It's been a while since I had your attention, so it might hurt to hit it. Let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. Let's get down to business. Oh yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, as always, Miguel Magallon. And as always, President, Founder, CEO of Magallon Entertainment. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we go back to the fucking war zone. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we go back to the motherfucking battlefield. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we go back to fucking war. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Thanksgiving break is over. And we are still in the battlefield. We are still in the war zone. And we are still in an economy that continues to tumble. We are witnessing a stock market that is going to continue to crash. And we are witnessing a world where people are going to lose their motherfucking minds. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm about to teach you some shit, when I'm about to educate you on shit, when I'm about to drop knowledge in this bitch, you already know what time it is on this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, get the pen and the pad, get the pen and the pad, get the pen and the motherfucking pads. And let us begin. So, earlier today, I spoke to two really good friends of mine, people I've known for a while now, for a couple of years now, and I had some really great conversations with them. And when I was talking to them earlier today, I was basically, giving them like a recap of what's been going on this podcast and what I see happening in the economy, both in the short term and in the future, and what I continue to see every single day when I talk to my VIPs, when I talk to my friends, when I talk to my family, and when I talk to my clients. And I was explaining to them like what I see happening around the world, what I see happening in the country, and what I see happening in the stock market, and what I see happening across, different asset classes, from, real estate to Bitcoin to different cryptos and altcoins, all the way down to, to the penny stocks and the OTCs and long-term investments, short-term investments, what I see happening in the job market, what I see happening with labor force participation, workforce participation, what I'm seeing happening within like different generations and generational divides, and what I'm seeing happening with my whales and mega whales, the millionaires, the billionaires, and the people who are struggling to get by every single month working paycheck to paycheck. And I had really good, long, in-depth conversations with both of these people. Shout out to my man Anthony out there in San Bernardino, and shout out to my man Jaron out there in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So I was talking to basically two different people on complete different sides of the country. One of them's in San Bernardino, California. The other one's out there in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, for those of you guys who don't know. And whether it's, again, subscribers in New York, subscribers in South Carolina, subscribers in Texas, subscribers in Arizona, subscribers in San Bernardino, Riverside, Oceanside, Manhattan Beach. I continue to talk to different people across, the country and around the world. And I talk to people who are working in different industries, different sectors, who have different positions at their company. Some of them are, entry-level workers. Some of them are mid-level managers. Some of them are senior managers. Some of them are regional managers. Some of them are district managers. Some of them are warehouse managers. Some of them are city managers. Some of them are state managers, state planners, wealth managers, money managers, pension managers. And some of them are, executive board members. And I talked to all of these people, and of course, including my small business owners, mid-sized companies, small-sized company, large-sized companies, entrepreneurs, self-made millionaires, right? Day traders, swing traders, money managers. And I'm basically talking to everyone I can at this point. And I'm trying to do my best as a general on this podcast to not only make sure that I'm understanding what's happening in the stock market, understanding what's happening in the economy, what's happening in different asset classes around the world, from crypto to Bitcoin to real estate, keeping up with what's happening with geopolitics around the world. Russia, Ukraine still going on. You have all the lockdowns in China that we're going to, talk in depth about tonight. You have everything that's going on in Europe and all the protests happening in Europe. You have a lot of things going on in South America right now in regards to their elections. You still have a lot of political tension up north in Canada, and we have a lot of, a lot of things going on in our country in terms of politics, in terms of parenting, in terms of laws, in terms of legislation, in terms of, what's acceptable and not acceptable, and what's, politically correct these days, and what's not politically correct to say these days, and who's controlling who, and who's really in charge, and who's really pulling the strings behind the scenes. And so there's just a lot right now going on around the world, going on in this economy, going on, in the stock market. And there's a lot of things going on in your guys' lives. And so because of that, I decided tonight I wanted to do another recap on this podcast. And, I try not to do too many recaps because, I like to, keep you guys updated and make sure you guys understand, all the things going on, around the world that's impacting the markets currently. But at the same time, I feel like, we talk a lot about a lot of different stuff on this podcast. And so sometimes it's good to do a recap, once or twice a month, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page and you guys are aware of what's going on and how it's having an impact, not just in our lives, but in our portfolio, and around the world and in other people's lives. And you guys can kind of get, familiar with, why things are having an impact and why everything is, interconnected, and why there's such a ripple effect on, things happening around the world that are impacting our economy, that are impacting our way of life, and that are impacting our way of living, right? Because at the end of the day, like, we're all interconnected as a planet, and we're all connected to each other one way or another. And so are our economies, and so are our portfolios, and so are our way of living and our way of, lives, right? And so tonight I want to do a quick recap for you guys just to kind of explain what's been going on the last few weeks, I'm not going to go back to like January, February, March. I mean, you guys by now, if you guys have been listening to the podcast for like more than a month or two, you guys know how I feel about the economy. You guys understand how I feel about, this recession. You guys know how I feel about what's going on in the world. So I'm not going to go back and rehash old shit like, when this recession started and what were the indicators, what were the red flags, when I became bearish, right? Instead, I'm just going to give you guys a quick recap on the last couple of weeks, last 2-3 weeks, maybe the last month or two at most, and then I'm going to explain what I think is going to happen from now until the end of the year. So this is kind of a shorter time frame thing. Again, this is about the last, call it, 5-6 weeks, and what I expect to happen in America and around the world in the next 5 to 6 weeks. And I'm probably going to be right about most of this shit. I might be wrong about one or two things here and there, but I believe I'm going to be right on most of the things I say tonight. And some of the things that I say tonight are probably going to piss you guys off. Some of the things I say tonight, some of you guys are going to disagree with. And some of the things I say tonight, might fucking turn you guys off. So as a reminder, I just want to make sure we're all clear on this podcast. I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. I don't give a fuck about your emotions. I don't give a fuck about your way of thinking. The only thing I give a fuck about, because I don't give a fuck about your feelings, that's for sure. The only thing I give a fuck about is your fucking bank account. The only thing I give a fuck about is your fucking portfolio. And the only thing I give a fuck about is making sure that you can make as much money as you can investing so you don't have to work paycheck to paycheck for that bitch ass supervisor anymore. The only thing I give a fuck about is making you so much money that you don't ever have to fucking go to work again unless you fucking want to. The only thing I fucking worry about is making sure that you don't have to be a fucking financial slave to the day you fucking die, working on your hands and knees to the day you fucking die. The only thing I give a fuck about is making sure you have enough money to retire early, to live the life you want to live, and to tell everyone that ever put you down to go eat a bag of fucking dicks. That's the only thing I care about. I don't care about if you're Republican, if you're Democrat, if you're woke, if you're asleep, if you're fucking left, if you're right, if you believe in climate change or not, if you think the earth is flat or you think the earth is round, if you're fucking, if you're Catholic, if you're Christian, if you're Mormon, if you're atheist. I don't give a fuck if, you agree with this guy or that guy. I don't care if you fucking like Biden, don't like Biden, love Obama, hated Obama. I don't care if you want to make America great again or if you think Trump is a fucking jackass. I don't give a fuck about none of this shit, America. I want you guys to know now, before we begin this clip tonight, the only thing I give a fuck about is making you money. The only thing I give a fuck about is making sure you're investing. And the only thing I give a fuck about is your financial future. Because at the end of the day, the quality of life that you have and the quality of life that you can provide for the people you love in life is all based on your financial fucking situation. Everything else is just hopes and dreams. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'm going to teach you what's going on around the world. Tonight I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen around the world. And tonight I'm going to fucking drop knowledge in this motherfucker. So when you're ready to learn, when you're ready to fucking invest, and you're ready to fucking do this shit, ladies and gentlemen, get ready, because I'm about to start fucking unloading. Ladies and gentlemen, get the fucking pen and the fucking pad.
Club con el combo, rápido, largo y lejos. Se pintaban los labios y la copa como espejo. Se acercó poco a poco y yo queriendo que me baile. Luego me dijo, vamos que te enseño buenos aires. Y nos fuimos en una, empezamos a la 1. Y con la nota rápido nos dieron las 3. Perreamos toda la noche y nos dormimos a las 10. Ando rezando la Dios para repetirlo otra vez. Y nos fuimos en una, empezamos a la 1. Y con la nota rápido nos dieron las 3. Perreamos toda la noche y nos dormimos a las 10. Ando rezando la Dios para repetirlo otra vez. Dime, beba, fecha y ahorita pasa a buscar. Yo le llego donde los demás, tú sabes que no le llegan. Frío de botellas de champán, de la copa al brindar, pero solo escucho como late. Mi corazón cuando ve ese cuerpo escaparate. El traje combina con la Mercedes Granate. No hay otra forma que ellos traten. Quédate, que la noche sin ti duele. Tengo en la mente la pose y todo lo gemido. Que ya no quiero nada que no sea contigo. Quédate, que la noche sin ti duele. Tengo en la mente la pose y todo lo que hicimos. Que ya no quiero nada que no sea contigo. Dale, guacha, suelta. Vente pa' Canarias sin el equipaje, sin viaje de vuelta. Por la isla te va a dar una vuelta. Bebé, solo avisa. El sábado te dejo, el domingo misa. Estoy a ver si me garantiza que te me pegas como quien graba con B-Side. Salir a las amigas del party y ella se quedó mirándonos a los ojos, no al reloj. Y nos fuimos Uber al apartamento en privado. Me pedía que le diera un concierto. Le dije que por menos de un beso no canto. Y nos fuimos en una, empezamos a la 1. Y con la nota rápido nos dieron las 3. Perreamos toda la noche y nos dormimos a las 10. Ando rezando la Dios para repetirlo otra vez. Quédate, que la noche sin ti duele. Tengo en la mente la pose y todo lo gemido. Que ya no quiero nada que no sea contigo. Quédate, que la noche sin ti duele. Tengo en la mente la pose y todo lo que hicimos. Que ya no quiero nada que no sea contigo. Que va a ver Lisa,
All right, so let's jump back into it. So let's start with what are we? I'm recording this clip on November 28th, so the end of November. Let's go back about 6 weeks ago, middle of October. In the middle of October, this was before Halloween. I remember telling you guys we're getting deeper and deeper into wave 4 of the recession, and I told you guys I categorized this recession in 5 waves: wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. And I said wave 4 of this recession will begin in September. I said wave 1 of the recession began back in January, right? And, I told you guys why. Inflation, 40-year high, stimulus checks are over, boosted unemployment's over, child tax credit's over, and now everyone is looking at gas prices and food prices and rent prices, and they're going, oh my God, things are so fucking expensive right now. Things are so freaking expensive. Everything is so expensive. Oh my gosh, Biden, do something, do something. It is so expensive right now. And a lot of Americans were getting frustrated because, particularly after, Russia decided to invade Ukraine, and we, in retaliation decided to stop buying oil from Russia, and, oil prices and gas prices started to skyrocket immediately after. Americans, for the first 2-3 months of the year, they were looking at their rent prices, which continue to go up, and they were looking at gas prices, which were skyrocketing, and then they were looking at the price of food that was going higher and higher, and they just kept going fucking through the roof. And Americans were realizing that, you know what, things have been getting expensive for the last 2 years now, but the reason a lot of Americans didn't really feel it or didn't really understand the impact of everything getting more expensive was because Americans were making more money than they've ever made before. Again, we were in an era for 2 years where people were getting paid more not to work than they were making when they were actually fucking working. So thanks to things like boosted unemployment and child tax credit money, don't get me started on that shit. Everyone's getting $250 to $350 a month for all their fucking oopsie babies. I know, you love them. I'm not saying you don't love your kids. I'm just saying half these motherfuckers running around were fucking accidents. But a lot of parents were getting all this extra money just for having kids that, to be honest, they didn't really want to begin with. But, fuck it. Now they're here and I love them so much because they're my schnuckle wookum. But whatever, you know what I mean? Let's just be honest. The only reason they're here is because Sangano over there didn't feel like pulling out in time because it felt too good, So, and, now you have a bunch of fucking oopsie babies. Again, doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means, Let's be honest. Let's be real, America. Only reason they're here is because Mofo forgot to pull out or didn't want to pull out because he was lazy as fuck. So with that being said, I mean, we were in an era, in a time period for 2 years where people were just making so much fucking money, and it was month after month after month of stimulus here, stimulus there, boosted unemployment, child tax credit money, and it was just so much motherfucking money. And so yeah, things were getting more expensive, prices were going higher, everything was getting more and more fucking, higher in price, but nobody really thought about it that way. No one really realized it because no one really felt it because everyone was just getting so much extra money. And that's why I believe once that stimulus ended and that child tax credit was gone and that boosted unemployment was over with and motherfuckers got to go get a job and go back to fucking work, that's when people realized, like, holy shit, my rent has been going up a lot lately. Holy shit, food is more expensive than it used to be. Holy shit, everything at Walmart is way more than it used to cost. And I think the reason they're starting to realize that during wave one of the recession in January was because they had no more free money to offset the fact that things were getting more expensive in the economy. And I think that's when wave one started. And then, wave two was probably around April, because in wave one, January, February, March, that's when people were emptying their portfolios, and that's when companies like Robinhood and Coinbase and Voyager and who else was there? Webull, the list goes on. That's when companies like that came out on their earnings call and they warned Wall Street and they try to tell investors like, hey, everyone is emptying their portfolios and everyone's just cashing out right now. And then all the investors were like, but why? Why is everyone selling all their stocks? Don't they know it's going to be worth more in the future than it is today? I thought all these people started joining Robinhood because they realized that the way to financial freedom is through investing, not through working paycheck per paycheck for that stupid baboso at work. I thought retail investors finally were smart enough and they finally woke up and realized that if they really want to live the life that they want, they have to start investing. If they want to do what, if they want to be rich and they want to live like rich people, then they have to do what rich people do. They buy assets and investing and investments. I thought all the poor people finally woke up and realized this, and that's why they joined Robinhood to begin with. And everyone's like, I know, huh? And then the CEO of Robinhood and the CEO of Coinbase and the CEO of Voyager and the CEO of all these fucking companies came out and they said, look, retail investors, they're not stupid. Just because they're not millionaires doesn't mean they're stupid. These retail investors, they understand that all these assets are going to be worth more in the future. These retail investors know that all these investments are going to be worth more in the future. These retail investors know that everything in their portfolio is going to be worth more later than it is now. But that's not why they're selling. The reason they're selling is because in spite of this, they need money to pay the fucking bills. They need money to pay the rent. They need money to pay the fucking landlord. They need money to buy groceries. They need money for gas. And the only reason they had money to invest to begin with was because they were getting boosted unemployment that paid them more not to work than they were working. The only reason they had money to invest was because they were investing that money that was for their kids, the child tax credit money. The only reason they had money to invest was because they were getting all these tax refunds. The only reason they had money to invest was because they were getting all this free money from the government. But now that that free money's gone and inflation is running wild, they realize like, yo, I don't have money to be putting into investing. And you know what? Not only do I not have money for investments, I need to start cashing out my investments, even though I'm down on a lot of them. But why, Robinhood? Why would they do such a stupid thing? That to me makes no sense, because if they know it's going to be worth more in the future, then why would they cash out now? Why? Shouldn't they be buying right now? And then, of course, the CEOs had to tell them, well, yeah, Baboso, they fucking know that. But the reason they're cashing out and selling and emptying their accounts and cashing the fuck out now is because inflation's really high. And now that government money is done and they're not going to get any more direct deposits, they're starting to realize that they don't make enough money working to pay all their bills. They don't make enough money at work to pay off all their debt. They don't make enough money in their lives to pay for everything without needing extra income, without needing, to tap into their savings and to tap into their portfolios. And so back in January, February, March, you saw a lot of retail investors get massacred. You saw a lot of retail investors, in my opinion, get murdered. And I think back in January, February, March, that was when a lot of retail investors emptied out and liquidated their entire portfolios. And Robinhood even told us, because they asked them, what kind of portfolios are getting liquidated the most right now? And they said accounts 10,000 and less. And they said basically all accounts that have $10,000 or less on Robinhood are almost down to zero again. And everyone was kind of it was kind of sad. It was like when someone in your family dies unexpectedly and it was like some stuff like no one saw coming. It's kind of weird because like I think a lot of people like me that try to help retail investors, we saw that and we were like, wow. I mean, boosted unemployment, child tax credit, stimulus after stimulus. Like, we understand that a lot of the money you guys were investing was money you guys were just getting from the government, right? But at the same time, those benefits, those direct deposits, those government stimulus checks and payments, they were only like they barely stopped in like December. We're only in February and now you have to sell everything in your account. You have to liquidate your whole portfolio. Like, bro, how fucked up is your monthly budget where you have to liquidate and sell everything just because you didn't get no stimulus for 2 months? Like, all it took was no more stimulus checks for 2 months and you had to dump everything in your portfolio. Like, that to me sounds that you guys, like, a lot of people were so dependent on that stimulus checks and that stimulus money. People were so fucking dependent and addicted to that shit that the moment it fucking ended, and I get it, inflation's high, but the moment that fucking ended, their entire world fucking ended. And they had to go run around and sell everything they had in their portfolio. They sold all their Bitcoin, all their Ethereum, all their crypto, all their altcoins, all their meme stocks, all their Tesla, their Apple, their Facebook, their Microsoft, their Google, their AMD, their Nvidia, their GameStop, their AMC, their Dogecoin, their Shibu. Like, they sold everything they fucking had, right? All the good and the bad. They dumped everything. And I think it made a lot of people kind of just say, wow, like, those people probably didn't have a balanced monthly budget. Those people probably weren't paying attention to their finances. Those people probably weren't paying attention to how much income they were bringing in compared to how much debt that they had to pay every single month. Because for people to like sell everything in their entire portfolio after only 2 months into a recession, like, that's fucking crazy to me, right? And again, I believe the recession for most Americans began in January because that's the moment where shit hit a lot of people where they realize, like, holy shit, I really don't got it like that. Like, I was spending a lot of money in 2020 and 2021, and I was going out, with my friends. I was going out to the club. I was going out to fancy dinners. I was popping bottle at the strip club. I was going to Vegas. I was going to the lake. I was going to the river. I was going here. I was going there. You know what I mean? I was talking to all these bad bitches, trying to flex on them on the gram. I was doing this, doing that. Like, I was active. But then a lot of people realized, like, oh shit, the only reason I was able to live that life for like a year and a half was because I was getting stimulus out the ass for a year and a half. Again, millions and millions and millions of people across the country were just getting so much fucking money. And a lot of people, again, were getting paid more not to work than they were making when they were actually working. And so what did they do? They went out every weekend. They went out to eat. They went out to party. They went out to club. They went out here. They went out there. They went out everywhere. And for about a year and a half, a lot of Americans that have been struggling their whole lives finally had an opportunity to spend this thing called disposable income. It's like this fucking magical thing that doesn't exist anymore for poor people. But there was this thing called disposable income, extra money. And there was a lot of people that didn't know what to do with that extra money. And so rather than invest, they spent that and they wanted to go out, they wanted to go here, there, party, eat, you know what I mean? Like, they really wanted to live their best life. And for almost 2 years, they got that chance. They got that opportunity. But now that's gone. And I think that's why wave one of the recession began in January. Because it wasn't just the fact that rent prices continued to go up and gas prices were starting to skyrocket and food prices were starting to go up, the latter two because of the war, in Russia, Ukraine. But it was also because a lot of people started spending that money on a monthly basis. And they started basically like counting it as monthly income. A lot of people were just under this impression that that money was going to be there forever, that money, that those direct deposits were never going to end. They were never going to stop. And the moment that happened, I think it hit a lot of Americans hard because all of a sudden that money's not coming in anymore. That child tax credit's gone. That boosted unemployment's gone. The stimulus checks are gone. They're not getting $1,400 here and there, right? Now all of a sudden that all that money's gone. Now a lot of Americans are like, oh shit, sheesh, these fucking bills are expensive. I got a lot of fucking debt. And I mean, I got a lot of fucking debt. And then all of a sudden people were waking the fuck up that they really don't got it like that. That they don't really have, they can't live that life like they thought they could. and they realize like, holy shit, I got to start cutting down on my spending. I got to start cutting, I got to start cutting back on shit. I got to stop spending less on this stupid shit. And they started like trying to fix their budgets, but for a lot of people, they didn't want to. For a lot of people, they were like, no, it's my life and I want to live it to the fullest now. It's my life. I need to live it. And a lot of people they didn't want to go back to the way things were. They didn't want to go back to saving, and they didn't want to go back to being responsible with money, and they didn't want to go back to, living on a budget and budgeting for things. Nah, fuck that. They got that nice life, that champagne life, that upper middle class type of lifestyle for a year and a half, and they were like, no, I don't want to go back. I want to go down to the valley and party with all my friends, And a lot of people, they just refuse. Let's just call it what it is, America. These bitches refuse to go back to the way things were. And it's because of that in order to finance this, in order for them to keep up and maintain this facade, this fake ass lifestyle, all caps, right? The only way they can keep doing that and keep living that way was by what? They had to sell all their investments. And I think, again, a lot of people, they knew, that Bitcoin's going to be worth more in the future, and Apple and Tesla and Microsoft, and the list goes on. They know it's going to be worth more 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. But the thing is, they want to go out now. They want to have fun today. They want to go out tonight. They want to party this weekend. They want to get fucked up. They want to, do this, do that, right? Like they're trying to live in the here and now. And when they have that mentality, when they have that way of thinking where it's always about what you're doing this weekend, what you're doing tonight, what you're up to right now, when they have that mentality and they have that way of life and they just refuse to break out of it, the only way they can really finance it, in the beginning, in January, February, March, was they had to sell everything they had. So they went into their Robinhood accounts, their Webull account, their Voyager account, their Coinbase account, their Gemini account, their FTX account, their whatever fucking account, right? Fidelity, E-Trade, Charles Schwab, the list goes on. And they went in there and they were like, sell. And they were like, withdraw. And then they were like, wee, and they went back to having fun that weekend. And then they had no more assets. They had no more investments. And I know, some of you guys who are like sharks and whales are listening to this, and they're like, I get this all the time from a lot of like my sharks and stuff. A lot of them, when I'm on the phone with them, they'll listen to this podcast and they'll be like, bro, I was listening to what you had to say about those dumbasses that were selling back in January, February, March. Bro, that's why they're dumbasses. That's why they're poor. That's why they have no money. That's why they're never going to have any money. And that's why they're probably going to work paycheck to paycheck, until they die, just like you say on the podcast. Because if they're too stupid to realize that they need to start cutting back on their excessive spending now and start focusing on saving, start focusing on investing, and start buying assets and investments like the rich people do, the millionaires, the billionaires, the Beamer, Benz, or Bentley, the Bugatti, the Maserati, the Ferrari, the Tesla, the Porsche, the Lamborghini, you know what I mean? Like, those people that have those type of cars and those type of lifestyles, like, you guys act like they have no investment. You guys act like they have no assets. Like, bitch, all they do is buy Bitcoin and real estate. Like, how do you think they fucking got there? You know what I mean? Check their portfolio. Check what kind of stocks they own. Check what kind of houses they own. Check what type of cryptos they own. Like, they're there for a reason. They're not there because all they do is spend their money every fucking day. They're there because they earn a lot of money and they invest a lot of money. Right? And that's the difference between becoming rich and staying rich forever. You see my point? And so sometimes a lot of my sharks and whales will listen to this podcast and be like, bro, that's their fault. Like, I don't even know why you waste any time with them. I don't know why you even spend time talking about them. Those people are just meant to be poor forever. And if that's their mentality, is just trying to figure out what type of nasty ass hoes they're going to fuck every weekend and what kind of stupid shit they're going to spend their money on every weekend, then they're just meant to be poor, bro. And that's fine. Like you say on the podcast, I need someone to build my house. I need someone to build my jacuzzi. I need someone to build my pool. I need someone to deliver my food at the restaurant. I need someone to take out the trash at the restaurant. I need someone to wash my car on the weekends. And like, if that's all they care about, then that's all they'll ever do, and that's all they'll ever amount to. So you shouldn't focus on like any time and energy on them. And I get it. I could understand why rich people say that. I could understand why my sharks and my whales feel that way. But at the same time, I feel like some of you guys who are in that situation, you guys need to hear this shit too. Because like, I can't stress this enough. When I go out to like dinner with clients, when I go out to dinner with a lot of these sharks and whales, they're making fun of most of you. Like most of the night, like I'm not gonna lie, like they're honestly just laughing about what I say on this podcast tonight. Like they honestly laugh. They're like, bro, remember that one time you were explaining why everyone was selling all their shit? Because they're like, oh my god, gas prices are so high. And they're like, bro, if you're stressed out about gas prices, you're a broke bitch, bro. You know, like they just don't stop clowning poor people. All they do is make fun of poor people. All they do is laugh at poor people. And I know it sounds fucked up, but I'm gonna be honest. Like newsflash, America. Most of the millionaires I know, they're fucking assholes. Most of the millionaires I know are not fucking like these like perfect angels. They're not fucking Taylor Swift over there. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so innocent and I became a millionaire without having to be ruthless in business. No, I'm just like this perfect little angel. Fuck no. Most of these people who are millionaires that I talk to, the only reason they're millionaires is because they're assholes. The only reason they became a millionaire is because they were aggressive, because they were ruthless, because they were cutthroat. Like, think about it. Like, you think it's easy to become a millionaire in America without being cutthroat in business? You think it's easy to be a millionaire in America if you let people walk over you? You think it's easy to become a millionaire in America if you don't have the fucking cojones to fucking, like murder some bitches out here in business? Like, a lot of these people are cutthroat. A lot of these people are aggressive. A lot of these people, like, they're fucking violent. Like, they don't take no for an answer. Like, like, these people, like, they stand on their 2 feet. And they're hustlers, man. And they're not going to back down from nobody. So a lot of these people, like, yeah, they're millionaires, but make no mistake about it. The reason they're millionaires is because they're fucking committed. They're fucking disciplined. They're fucking killers, man. They really fucking are. And it's just funny. Sometimes I'll talk about what's happening in the economy and what's happening in the world, and they'll listen to it and they'll just laugh. They'll laugh their fucking ass off at dinner. You know what I mean? They're ordering shots and they're ordering champagne and we're talking about this and that, and they're just laughing the entire time on how so many people are struggling. And the first thing they'll say is the only reason they're struggling is because they don't know how to balance their budget. The only reason they're struggling is because they don't know how to balance their monthly debt and their monthly income. The only reason they're struggling is because they're still spending too much money on stupid shit. Like, people have money, Miguel. Like, they really, really do. The reason they're broke all the time is because the moment they get money, they spend money. They never invest. They never save. They never buy investments. The first thing they do is spend it on stupid shit. And sometimes they don't think it's stupid shit because they think it doesn't cost a lot. But it's like you say on the podcast, all that little shit adds up. And it's not just when it comes to spending. It also applies when it comes to investing. So sometimes these people will spend $5 here, $10 here, $20 here, and they don't think it's a lot of money. Like, oh, it's just 20, $30. But if it's 20, $30 every single day, over 30 days, that's like almost $1,000. But it's the same thing for investing. If you just invest $5 here, $10 here, $20 there, if you invest $30 a day, that's $1,000 a month in investing. Like, you can have $100,000 account in less than 4 years. So it's the same thing. Like, they want to say, oh, it's not a lot of money when it comes to spending it. But then also when it comes to investing, oh, it's not a lot of money. Like, bitch, it doesn't seem like a lot of money, but that's because your bitch ass didn't pay attention in math. Like, 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4, 4 + 4 = 8, 8 + 8 = 16, 16 + 16 = 32, 32 + 32 = 64, goes up to 124, goes up to 250, goes up to 500, goes up to $1,000. Then all of a sudden you're talking about 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 16,000, 32,000, 64,000, 128,000. Now all of a sudden you're talking about $250,000. Then all of a sudden you're talking about $500,000. Then all of a sudden you're talking about 1 million, 2 million, 4 million, 8 million, 16 million, 32 million, 64 million, 128 million, all the way to $500 million. Now, is all this stuff going to happen overnight? No, but it's also not going to happen if you never start. It's also never going to happen if you never begin. It's never going to happen if you never make that first deposit. You see my point? So it's just funny, guys. Like, I'll have dinner with a lot of these sharks and whales, and they're just laughing at you guys because they understand, like, because they've been in your shoes. I've been in your shoes. I've been where you guys are at right now. I was on food stamps. I was on welfare. I was on WIC. I was on government subsidies. I was on fucking paycheck to paycheck. You know what I mean? When I was in the Marine Corps, I made less than minimum wage. So I understand where you guys are. And so it's just funny, like, when I'm having these business dinners, like, they're just making fun of you guys and clowning you guys so hard because they understand the only reason they were able to make it out of that situation to begin with was because they finally realized, like, if I'm going to be successful and I'm going to become, a millionaire and a billionaire one day, I need to do what the millionaires and billionaires are doing. I need to start buying assets and I need to start buying investments. right? And I need to start buying money. I need to start making my money work for me and not just keep working for money. I need to start getting that compound interest. I need to start building my net worth. I need to start building my portfolio. I need to have a diversified portfolio. I need to start fucking with this and fucking with that and building a company and starting a business. You know what I mean? Like I need to start, thinking about like big goals in life. You know what I mean? Like I need to be a boss. You know what I mean? I need to stop being a fucking employee my whole life. And they laugh because they remember that when they first started their financial journey to financial freedom and financial independence, and they said like, I want to become a millionaire one day. When they first said that, they remember everyone at work that used to make fun of them. They remember everyone at work that used to clown them. They remember everyone at work that said that they'll never make it. And now these guys are driving Beamer, Benz, or Bentley, and you guys still live with your mom. You see what I'm saying? And so it's just funny because now when I tell them like, oh yeah, I got these subscribers and inflation's really high and they're struggling and the recession started in January, they're like, nah, the only people who are feeling the recession are the people who don't understand math. The only people who are feeling the recession are the people who don't understand the money. The only people who are feeling the recession are the ones who don't understand how money works. And I'm not gonna lie, America, it's kind of true. If I'm being dead honest with you guys, they're not lying. It's not cap. They're telling the truth. And so, anyways, that's just something that I want to let you guys know. Like, if you guys ever wonder, like, what what millionaires are thinking these days and what they're doing these days, these are some of the things that we discuss at dinners. These are some of the things we discuss in our business meetings. These are some of the things that, they say to me. They say like, yo, General, I appreciate everything you're trying to do for these people, but like you shouldn't waste your time on these people because honestly they're just never going to learn. If they don't know by now how to balance their monthly budget, if they don't know by now how to do that thing you were saying where you sit down with your wife and you tell your wife exactly how much money you make every single month, and your wife tells you how much money she makes every month, and then you start to write down all your fucking bills from your rent to your fucking car payments, car insurance, and even the little things, the Wi-Fi bill, the Netflix bill, the water bill, the gas bill, the fucking, gas and electric, the trash bill, how much you're paying for fucking this, how much you're paying for that, from haircuts to nails to fucking getting your oil changed to, monthly maintenance to, if you have kids, how much are you spending on diapers, how much you're spending on formula, how much you're spending on baby wipes, how much you're spending on baby clothes, how much you're spending on this, how much you're spending on that. If you're not writing down, all your credit card debt, all your student loan debt, all your personal loan debt, all your business debt, you got to write down everything. And you got to sit down with your wife and be like, this is how much money we make every single month together, and this is how much all our bills are together. And then you figure out, well, how much are you short or how much are you up? And then when you're up, how much money are you investing? How much money are you putting to work for you? Or are you just spending that shit at fucking, Panda Express? You're just spending that shit at the liquor store. You're just spending that shit at the cannabis store. You're just spending that shit on fucking prostitutes and loose pussy. You're just spending that money going out to eat every weekend. You're spending that money going out to the club. Whatever it is you're spending that money on, you got to figure out what it is that I'm spending all this extra money on. Because on paper, we have X amount of money left over at the end of the month. But when I check my bank account at the end of the month, that shit empty, damn near negative. Like, what the fuck? Where is the disconnect? Where am I fucking up? Where am I not making the right decision? And that's where the discipline comes in. That's where the commitment comes in. That's where the dedication comes in. And that's why some people are millionaires and some people live at home with their mom and dad. And it's really that simple to a lot of these sharks. It's really that simple to a lot of these millionaires. It's really that simple to a lot of my whales and mega whales. It's either you're fucking all about it and you really want to become a millionaire, or you're just one of those people that talk about it but never accomplish anything in life. And that's how they honestly feel, because when they started their financial journey and they started their financial path, that was the same decisions that they had to make. And again, everyone wants to become a millionaire, but only a few actually do. Everyone else just stays poor forever. And so when they hear me tell these stories, they laugh about it because they remember when they first started their journey and all their friends and coworkers and family, they doubted them, they put them down, they made them feel like shit, they made them feel like they're never going to accomplish this. And next thing you know, they fucking own 5 Teslas. You know what I mean? And they own fucking 6, 7, 8, 9 different houses in 9 different states. Now all of a sudden they own 900 Bitcoins. Like, these are the type of people I love to have dinner with. These are the type of people I love to have conversations with. These are the people I love to be on the phone with. These are the people I love to interview. These are the people I love to get to know. because these are the people I never have to question them. When they say they're committed, they're fucking committed. When they say they're disciplined, they're fucking disciplined. And when they say they're ready to pull the trigger, they squeeze that bitch till the clip is fucking empty. And those are the people that I want as my clients. Those are the people that I want as VIP subscribers. Those are the people that I want in my life. You know, what's that thing by Mark Cuban? He says, if you want to know who you are in life, all I have to do is look at your 5 closest friends, like your 4 closest friends, right? And if I look at like the 4 people in your life that you hang out with the most, and all 4 of them are broke, that means you're the 5th one. You know what I mean? And that's what he, you know, and then, you know, what he's insinuating is right. Like, you're not a product of your environment, you're a product of your habitat. Who are you hanging out with? You can be in an environment, but if you're hanging out with people who are successful or trying to be successful, then that's what you're going to, you know, that's who you're going to become. You're going to become a person who's trying to become successful. So it's not necessarily about like your environment, but it's like, who are you with in that environment? Who are you surrounding yourself with, right? You know, so you can be in a jungle, right? But you got to choose. If you're in a jungle, are you a fucking lion, or are you the fucking prey? Right? And that's what really this war zone is. That's what this recession has really caused people to kind of ask themselves. Am I really just struggling every month because I'm making bad decisions with my money every month? Or am I struggling every month because, you know, I'm not making, you know, the right decisions? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what this recession is basically like. It's forcing people to like reflect. It's forcing people to open their eyes. It's forcing people to kind of like make a decision, make a choice, you know? Are you just going to keep struggling every single month for the rest of your life, paycheck to paycheck? Or are you going to start making better decisions with your money and better decisions with your financial decisions and financial future? You know? And, you know, again, everyone says they want to be a millionaire, but only a few do. Everyone else stays broke forever. So, with that being said, to me, that's when this recession started, right? And so then we fast forward a little bit, and I told you wave 2 started in April. And the reason I say wave 2 started in April is because the first step in a recession is everyone, including poor people, especially poor people, they sell all their assets and they sell all their investments because they'd rather sell their assets and investments and live their best life now. And oh my gosh, I want to go down to the valley because all my friends are there and I want to have fun this weekend and we're all going to get fucked up. Oh my gosh, it's Sarah's party. Everyone's going to be there. Babe, we have to go. We have to go. You know, and then you're just there like, oh, I don't want to go. I hate that bitch, bro. Fuck. All right, I'll go. But then when you go to this shit, you got to get your hair done, got to get the nails done, you got to get a fade, get a fresh cut. You got to fucking do this, do that, buy a present that she's not going to appreciate anyways. You know, it's like you go to like all these fucking events that you don't really want to go to, but you feel social pressure to go to them. And you end up just wasting a lot of money because, you know, you got to look good when you go there. You can't come empty-handed. You got to stay there. You got to pitch in on this, pitch in on that. The gas money just to get there. Sometimes you got to get a room. And all of a sudden, you know, you're out of pocket $800-900, $2,000, $3,000. And then half the time you don't even have a good time. You over there, you come back home on Sunday night and you're like, fuck, why did I even go, man? Well, I fucking hate this shit, bro. You know? And so... But for a lot of people, like going to these events and going to these parties and going to these kickbacks and going to this and going to that, like you might not want to do it, but if you do it, chances are you had to empty out your savings account. You had to, you know, dig out your savings account. You had to sell your assets. You had to sell your investments, or you had to spend money that, you know, otherwise would have gone to assets and investments and instead went to stupid shit and bullshit. You see what I'm saying? So it's just frustrating because I think that has to be step one of a recession is you basically force poor people that want to continue to live that upper middle class life, to continue to live that champagne life, that nice life. And in order for them to be able to finance it now that all that free money is gone and all that excess fucking spending, you know, is gone and all that stimmy's gone, you force them to sell all their assets. You force them to sell all their investments. Now, you're not going to convince the rich people to do it. The rich people are smart. They're going to hold on to their investments and they're going to hold on to their assets. And if anything, they're going to fucking buy more. But the dumb people, the poor people, the ones who are meant to work paycheck to paycheck, oh, they'll sell that shit no problem because it's not about the future. It's about this weekend. And so that's what they're going to do, and I think it worked flawlessly this time. I think back in January, February, March, I think a lot of people sold everything, and we got confirmation. Like I said, CEO of Robinhood, CEO of Coinbase, CEO of Voyager, they all came out on their earnings call and they were like, "Damn, everyone's selling everything. Accounts 10,000 and less. They're just dumping left and right." And unfortunately, that's what we saw, and that's why I said I feel like retail investors were the ones who got massacred. I feel retail investors were the ones who got murdered. I think retail investors are the ones that got annihilated, and a lot of them did so willingly. Why? Because to them it was more about living that good life and being able to post about it and brag about it on the gram than it was about their financial future and their financial freedom. So for a lot of people, that's what they did. Other people, they had to sell everything, to fight inflation because inflation was really high. But again, all of my rich people, all of my sharks, all of my whales will say, yeah, things might be more expensive. But again, Miguel, they have the money for it. They didn't need to sell their stocks. They didn't need to sell real estate. They didn't need to sell Bitcoin. They didn't need to sell Tesla stock. They didn't need to do any of that. The reason they did it wasn't just because things cost more. Yeah, things cost more and you're not getting that stimulus. But if you were balancing your monthly budget and you were making sure you were living within your means and within your budget, then even though that stimulus went away, you would have never counted that stimulus as part of your monthly income to begin with. You would have never been dependent on it. You would have never allowed yourself to become dependent on it. And so even if it had gone away, if you had been really like disciplined about your finances, it wouldn't have mattered that all that free money's gone now because you were living within your means and within your budget to begin with. So, you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't have needed to sell all that stuff. The reason they sold it was because they weren't disciplined. They weren't fucking, paying attention to their budgets, and they weren't paying attention to their monthly debts and their monthly obligations. And they chose to continue to, buy a bunch of stupid shit. And then when they realized they don't have as much money for that stupid shit as they once had, that's why they, willingly chose to sell all their investments, because they refused to cut back on that stupid shit. And I would say, you know what, you're probably right. That might not be the story for every single person, but for like 99%, you're probably right. And I think that was what Wave 1 was all about. And I know I'm fucking up now and I'm talking about the past versus, the future, but I feel like all of this context is really important for you guys, right? Especially if you're new subscribers or people who are just trying to get caught up on the podcast. So I'll continue on, but I'm going to get to what's about to happen, from now until the end of the year. I'm going to get to that in a moment. Just bear with me, guys. But, then we begin April, and now these people have no more assets to sell. They have no more investments to sell. They have nothing left on Robinhood or Voyager or Coinbase or anything, right? They sold all their assets because, getting fucked up this weekend and, trying to chase all this loose ass pussy in the club was more important to you. Okay, that's fine. You know what I mean? But now you have no more assets and investments to sell. So how do you keep funding your lifestyle in April, May, June, July? Right? April, May, and June in particular. Oh, what happened in April, May, and June? April, May, and June was the start of credit card spending exploding in America. And that's why the CEO of MasterCard and the CEO of Visa and the CEO of Capital One and the CEO of American Express, the four horsemen of death in every single apocalypse, every single recession, they came out on Wall Street and they told investors like, hey guys, don't mean to sound any alarms, Bob, but we just want to let everyone know that credit card spending is going through the motherfucking roof. And we just want to let you guys know that's what's going on right now. And then all of Wall Street analysts were like, what? Why is everyone maxing out credit cards? What the fuck? Why are they doing that? Why are they so stupid? Everyone knows that the more you get into credit card debt, the more you stay poor forever. So why the fuck is everyone maxing out credit cards? Why don't these bitches understand the way money works? Because no one fucking taught them, because you didn't want to teach them, because you wanted them to be a financial slave forever on your plantation. Anyways, credit card spending started to explode in April, started to explode more in May, and started to explode more in June. And, April, May, June, going into summer, credit card spending was going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And, all of a sudden you started to see the middle class finally start to get hit. And, that's when, and we didn't know this at the time, because some of this data is kind of lagging, But, a few months later, we find out that back in April, May, and June is when we started to see HELOCs explode too nationwide. And you started to see a lot of homeowners, mostly middle class and lower middle class, they were starting to pull equity out of their homes. So now it wasn't just poor people getting hit, it was middle class people getting hit too. Again, especially middle class and lower middle class. And a lot of these people were just pulling money out their homes, or they were using credit card, since poor people don't own homes, they're renters or they live with their mom. So they don't have a home to pull money out of to begin with, but they have credit cards, so fuck it, right? Fuck it. So these people were just using credit cards beginning in April, going into May, and going into June, and going into the summer. And credit card spending was going higher and higher and higher and higher. And then we began wave 3 of the recession, and wave 3 of the recession was basically summer. That was June, July, August. And wave 3 of the recession, it just got even worse because now these credit cards started to get maxed out. Now these credit cards started to hit their limits. Now a lot of banks started, cutting back on how much money they were going to allow you to pull out of your homes in terms of like the interest rate on it and this, that, and the other, right? A lot of banks were very tight with HELOCs. And so June, July, August, you started to see a lot of people just saying, fuck, I don't have any money left on my credit card. I don't have, any more money I can pull out of my home. Oh no, what do I do? What do I do? And that's when shit started to go nationwide, because in June, July, August, that's when you started to see a lot of missed payments. And you started to see a lot of delinquencies in credit cards. You started to see a lot of delinquency in student loan debt. You started to see a lot of delinquencies in car payments mostly. And you started to see a lot of missed payments in a lot of things. And so that's when the credit cards companies came out in June, July, August, and they said delinquencies are starting to skyrocket. And now all these people that just got done spending the entire April, May, and June and all their spring break maxing out their credit card, now here we are June, July, August, and motherfuckers aren't paying them off. Now all of a sudden we're starting to see 30-day delinquencies. Now all of a sudden we're starting to see 60-day delinquencies. Now all of a sudden we're starting to see 90-day delinquencies. Now all of a sudden we see 120-day delinquencies. Like motherfuckers basically maxed out their entire fucking credit cards, all their credit cards, and now a lot of motherfuckers aren't even paying them back. And so, the credit cards are calling them, asking, hey, when can you make a payment? When can you, make at least some kind of payment? Because we don't want to send your account to collections. Because if it goes to collections, then we're basically never going to get paid. And, we rather get paid something than nothing. So if you can at least pay us $20, $30, in good faith, and that'll be a start. Because if we send your account to collections, like, yeah, we never get our money, but guess what? Your credit score is going to get fucked after that. Because once you have shit going into collections, your credit score goes down a lot, right? Especially in a higher interest rate environment. No mames, that credit score is going to get fucking beat down. So, they try to tell people like, yo, you don't want to do this. Don't let your account go to collections, because once it goes into collections, yeah, we're fucked because we don't get paid anymore. But guess what? You're fucked too, because good luck trying to finance a car or try to buy a home in the future, because that shit's just going to be lingering on your fucking credit score. Ask any real estate agent. It's really hard to buy a house when you got 10 credit cards in collections. Just saying, America. Just saying. So with that being said, a lot of people just stopped paying credit cards, and now all of a sudden a lot of people stopped paying their cars, and you started to see auto loan delinquencies. And that's when companies like Ford and GM and even Tesla came out, and they said, hey, we're starting to see delinquencies in auto loans. And if these people don't start catching up on their payments, we're going to have to start repossessing their cars. And guess what happened all summer? Repo started going up. And it's funny that now a lot of cars are getting repossessed, because I try to warn people all summer that was going to happen nationwide. And guess what I see now everywhere on the news? Oh my gosh, all these cars are getting repoed all across the country. Oh my God, how could the Biden administration let this happen? And I'm like, yo, bro, like, me, I'm not pro Biden, I'm not pro Trump. All I give a fuck is about that portfolio. But at the same time, don't get shit fucked up. Like, I don't want to blame this on Biden. Like, I understand why people can say, well, the only reason the economy's bad is because we didn't re-elect Trump, blah, blah, blah. All right, whatever, fucking MAGA cap. But what I am going to say is, at the same time, like, bro, like, I understand the economy's bad, and, try to warn you, and I understand a lot of people are losing their jobs and they're getting their hours cut back at work. But if you're getting your car repossessed, it better be because you got laid off and you have no other job that you can get. Because right now, I still see a lot of jobs in the economy, And the problem right now isn't that there's no jobs. The problem is that the only jobs that exist are jobs that nobody wants to do. Working at Taco Bell, working at Jack in the Box, working at McDonald's, because that's beneath me. I would never do something like that. I would never work at fucking Food for Less. I would never work at fucking Del Taco, bro. I would never work at Burger King. It's beneath me, bro. It's beneath me. I'm like, all right, so when your fucking car gets repossessed, then I don't want to hear shit either. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't say shit that, oh, it's beneath me, but then fucking be all butthurt that your car got taken away. Like, bro, you got to decide. Like, I get it. There's a lot of people getting laid off, and there's a lot of people getting their hours cut back. But at the same time, there's still a lot of jobs in the economy. There's still a shit ton of jobs in the economy as far as I'm concerned. But again, the problem isn't that there's no jobs in the economy. The problem is that all these jobs are minimum wage jobs that nobody wants to do. And that's what the Fed is focused on. They're focused on labor participation, workforce participation. Because you might say working at Burger King is stupid. You might say working at fucking McDonald's is demeaning. You might say that working at Jack in the Crack and cleaning the toilets at Jack in the Box is fucking unhumane, and you know what I mean? And then it's embarrassing, and it's this and that. But bitch, it's also a paycheck. It's also a way to get some money. It's also a fucking job, right? Like, I get it. Nobody wants to clean toilets for a living. No one wants to clean fucking baby poop for a living. No one wants to clean up people's vomit at the fucking store. I get it. Clean up in aisle 7. Clean up in aisle 7. We got a fucking baby doo-doo on aisle 7. Like, I get it. Nobody wants to do that shit. But at the same time, like, when you're struggling and you have no money to feed your kids or feed your family or pay the bills, and you're about to get your car repossessed and your credit cards are going to go into collection, so you'll never be able to buy a house or a car in the near future, and you're backed up on your mortgage, you're backed up on your rent, like, bitch, I get it. It's not the fucking most, like, on a pedestal job, like, oh my gosh, it's not like being a doctor and a lawyer, but at the same time, you didn't want to go to college to become a doctor or a lawyer, so it's not like you have all the options in the world either. I get it. It's not a job that pays a lot. I get it. It's a job that you're going to get made fun of and people are going to laugh at you and look down at you. I get it, right? There's a lot of like social anxiety around, these minimum wage jobs. Like, they have a stigma to them. Like, everyone wants to like stereotype these people that work in McDonald's and Burger King and Jack in the Box, and they want to like demean them and make them feel like shit and laugh at them and humiliate them and make them feel like they're losers in life, and the only reason they're working there is because they can't do anything else, or they don't qualify for anything else, and they're a loser, and they've always been a loser, and they're always going to be a loser. And I think from a societal perspective, we do a fucking ass job at fucking making people feel like shit just because like they have to work a minimum wage job to pay their bills. So I get it, like the Federal Reserve wants these jobs to get filled because even though you want to make fun of them and demean them, there's still jobs that need to get done by somebody. And so, they're not going to stop raising interest rates until these jobs get filled, because they need fucking these jobs to get filled. They're important to our economy. You might not think so, but it really is. So with that being said, there's still a lot of jobs out there. The problem is nobody wants to fucking do them. And so when I hear people saying like, oh, people are getting their cars repossessed, and now all of a sudden you're starting to see evictions across the country, and now all of a sudden people are selling their homes because they can't afford the mortgage anymore, even though renting is more expensive than owning the home. It's a lot different when you lose your job, and people are moving back home with their parents. People are moving in with roommates. People are moving in with family. Homeless shelters are saying they're at max capacity again. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I get it is bad, but at the same time, like, I don't know, like, I also feel like there's a disconnect. Like, how the fuck is everyone moving back home with mom and dad, and everyone's getting roommates, and all of a sudden people are living in their cars again, and homeless shelters are at max capacity? But every time I go to Walmart, every time I go to Burger King, every time I drive through a Del Taco or a Taco Bell or a Subway or a McDonald's, all I see is big ass signs: hiring now, hiring today, hiring immediately. All available positions are open. All positions are available. Please speak to the manager today. Hiring immediately. Hiring on the spot. We'll do an interview today. Please apply. Please apply. And I'm just like, damn, every time I go to like a drive-thru, all I see is a big ass help wanted sign. So like, I feel like there's a disconnect. And again, I feel like, motherfuckers would rather starve than work at fucking Burger King because they don't want to get made fun of. They feel like it's demeaning. They feel like it's humiliating. They feel like it's embarrassing. And I get it. I really do. But no mames way, like, if you can't feed your kids and you can't pay the rent and you can't build a bill, like, bitch, Better flip that motherfucking burger with a smile on your bitch ass face. Like, that shit just frustrates me. That stresses me. It's not even my family. It's not even my wife and kids. It's not even my familia. But that shit pisses me the fuck off when I see motherfuckers say, oh, I would never work there. It's so humiliating. I'm like, bitch, you're almost 30 and you live with your mom and dad still. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I see a lot of people that are just struggling like a motherfucker and like they don't even have a job or they're barely working. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, how do you keep complaining about how bad things are and then there's nothing but opportunities in front of you, but you don't want to do it because you don't want the homies to laugh at you, dog? Hell nah. I can't get no bitches if I work there. I'm like, bro, like you're in a phase in your life where right now you just got to get a bag. You just got to get a paycheck. You know what I mean? Like, bro, just get a job. It's going to be embarrassing. If people see you there, they're probably going to laugh at you, but fuck it. At least you're getting paid. You know what I mean? Like, but some people, man, their pride. What do we always say? The pride will be the death of you. Like, I'm telling you, I feel like right now in America, especially in this like social media environment, this Instagram world, TikTok world, Snapchat world we find ourselves in, I feel like now people are just so scared to do things because they don't want to get embarrassed or they don't want to feel like it's like they don't want to feel humiliated or they don't want to feel like people are going to make fun of them or put them down and like like everyone has to like watch out for their pride. I feel like these days pride kills more people than cigarettes. I really fucking do, especially with the advancements in the healthcare system and in medical technology. Like, honestly, I feel like pride kills more people these days than cigarettes. I'm like so dead ass serious about that. So anyways, though, that's what we find ourselves in. So all summer long, wave 3 of the recession, a lot of people just, they just fucking kept spending credit cards, and then in the summer, wave 3, they couldn't afford to make the payments anymore. And this was before the layoffs started happening nationwide. This is before we started seeing job cuts. This is before we even entered wave 4 of this recession, let alone wave 5 that starts in January. Like, just in the summer, you started seeing repos fucking explode across the country. And now every time you go like on YouTube and TikTok, you see all these videos of people's cars getting repoed. And like, I see it on TikTok all the time, like all these people posting videos of like people's cars getting repossessed. And everyone's laughing at it like, damn, that motherfucker got his Tesla repo. Damn, I guess mofo didn't have it like that after all. Damn, now this is a video of him riding the bus the next day. Damn, now his baby mama got to drop him off at work. Damn, now this motherfucker got to take an Uber to the job. Damn, look at this motherfucker. And it's just like, damn, motherfucker. That's how it be these days. Like, I wish it didn't have to be that way. But again, I'm not here to tell you the world the way it should be. I'm here to just tell you the way the world is. And motherfuckers are savages. They're just fucking, what can I say? Fucking haters everywhere. Like, it is what it is, America. It is what it is. So that was wave 3 of the recession. And then we entered wave 4. And then all summer long, I kept telling you guys, things are going to get worse. 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 We're in a motherfucking recession. And the bulls with their fucking bullshit kept trying to tell me it's not that bad. It's just a softening. It's just a correction, Miguel. It's not going to be like 0809. It's nothing like 0809. And I'm like, bitch, did I say this was 0809? No. What I am saying, though, is just like 0809, this is a motherfucking recession. It might be a different recession, and this recession isn't being caused by the housing market like the last one was. It might be a recession for completely different reasons, but make no motherfucking mistake, it's a motherfucking recession. But the bulls, it's not that bad. Things aren't going to go down that. It's not going to get much worse. It's okay. And I'm like, and to a certain extent, they're right. Because when I talk to my sharks and I talk to my whales and my mega whales and my millionaires and my multimillionaires, they're not feeling this recession. They're not feeling this economy. They're not feeling higher interest rates. Why? Because they're rich. Because they're rich as fuck. Because they're millionaires. So that's why I always tell you, like, I talk to a lot of my whales, and a lot of them, like Rafael in San Diego, or Titi Sonia out there in Puerto Rico, or Yesenia out there in New York, or Dr. Anderson in Texas, or, the list goes on. Like, a lot of my whales that have like $20 million portfolios, $40 million portfolios, $50 million portfolios, $60 million portfolios, $100 million net worth, $200 million net worth. A lot of these big ass mega whales I talk to, I'd be like, damn, bro, how's the recession? They're like, what recession? I just made $400,000 this month. I'm like, damn, you made $400,000 in a month? And they're like, yeah, bro. Doesn't everyone? I'm like, nah, bro. Some motherfuckers don't even make 400 in a year, bro. Some people won't even make 400,000 in their lifetime, and that's a fact. Some people won't even make 400,000 in their lifetime. You know, because they're working $20,000 a year fucking minimum wage jobs. So it's just funny, like when I talk to these whales and mega whales, some of these motherfuckers are making like 40,000 a week, 60,000 a week, 50,000 a week, 80,000 a week, 100,000 a month, 200,000 a month, 600,000 a month, 400,000 a month. You know what I mean? Then I got guys like Rafael in San Diego. He can make 5 million in a month. Like this dude literally makes like 5 to 15 million, you know, because real estate's always up and down, but you know, he's making at least 10 to 15 million this year. Even in a fucking recession with higher interest rates and higher mortgage rates, he's still going to make 10 to 15 million this year, maybe even 20. You see my point? So like I talk to these whales and mega whales and they just don't give a fuck. They don't give a shit. They're still getting paid up in this motherfucker. Right? So again, I'm not saying that rich people aren't getting richer. What I'm saying is middle class and below, even upper middle class and below, they're getting slaughtered. They're getting murdered. They're getting annihilated. You know, and some of them it's because they refuse to stop spending their money on bullshit, and the only way they can finance this bullshit ass fake ass life that they're trying to fucking portray on Instagram and Snapchat, the only way they can live it is by using credit cards and pulling loans. And you know, for other ones, they just keep making bad financial decisions left and right over and over again. And so that's why I always say, like, I don't think rich people are gonna feel this recession at all. And one of the many things that are different from now to 2008, 2009 is in 2008, 2009, everyone got slaughtered, everyone got hit, everyone got hurt. In this recession, it's not going to be anything like that. In this recession, I think it's just all middle class and below, including the upper middle class. These bitches ain't special. They still middle class. You know what I mean? They might be close to becoming a millionaire, but I bet you they're not no close anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so I think everyone that's not rich is going to get hurt this recession, and I think everyone that is rich is going to basically skate through it. And that's one of the main differences I've seen between this recession and the one from 2008, 2009 is 08, 09, everyone got hit, everyone got punched, everyone got fucking beat down. In this recession, rich people ain't feeling a goddamn thing. These motherfuckers are flying through it. They still in first class drinking that champagne. They don't give a fuck. But everyone that's not rich, middle class and below, they fucking getting hit like a motherfucker. So, you know, 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Only 20% or less are millionaires. And, you know, the top 10% are multi millionaires. So the top like 10, 15%, maybe top 20% of Americans, they're not going to feel it. But the other 80% of Americans, they're going to get destroyed. And, you know, that's the situation we find ourselves in. Again, not here to tell you the way the world should be, telling you the way the world motherfucking is. So with that being said, you know, we enter wave 4 of the recession in September. And again, I tried to warn you guys, wave 4 of the recession, now shit's going to hit the fan. And now shit is hitting the fan. And I told you nationwide layoffs were coming in September. And I told you they were coming in November. And guess what we saw? Amazon laying off employees across the country. Now we see Facebook laying off employees across the country. Instagram laying off employees across the country. Google, Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, AMD, Nvidia. Every single company in the Fortune 500 is basically laying off employees across the country. And everyone's getting laid off. Everyone's getting their hours cut back at work. Everyone's feeling the pain. And now all of a sudden, I start to see more and more people saying, fuck, bro, shit's really hard right now. You know, because a lot of people I know did lose their job. But even the ones who didn't lose their job, they're making less money than they used to make. And now I hear a lot of people tell me, like, bro, I feel like I'm working harder than ever, but I'm making less money. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if, like, you understand me, bro, but, like, this shit, like, I don't know. This shit just don't make sense to me. Because it feels like I'm working harder than I've ever worked before, and I'm making less money than I used to make. And I'm like, yeah, because in 2020, 2021, in that low interest rate environment, everyone was getting big ass paydays. Everyone was getting big ass paychecks. Everyone was getting fucking, you know, massive ass fucking income. But now people aren't getting those big paydays. Now people aren't getting that, you know, big bonus. Now people aren't getting paid as much as they used to get paid before, but all their bills went up because the interest rate on their credit cards went up. The interest rate on all their loans went up. Their rent went up. Food prices went up. Gas prices went up. The price for cars went up. Like everything went up in prices, but your paycheck stayed the same. And so that's why people are feeling it. But instead of just cutting down on their expenses and being more like disciplined about what they're spending their money on every month, People still want to go out to eat. People still want to go to the clubs. People still want to go out to the kickback. People still want to go out on the weekends. People still want to, try to impress these fucking bitches on Instagram. People still want to, flex for the hoes. People want to keep piping down these hoes. People want to keep going to the strip club, popping bottles, taking shots, doing this, doing that, going here, going there, going everywhere. People still want to live the same life that they used to live. And so the only way they can make up that deficit now is by what? Using credit cards, selling assets, selling investments, maxing out loans. Well, now they have no investments. They have no assets. They sold all their Bitcoin. They sold all their crypto. They sold all their stocks. They emptied their 401k. They don't even have a pension. They don't have a retirement account anymore. Then they maxed out all their credit cards. They pulled out every loan they could in the world. They can't even pay back the loan. They can't even pay off the credit cards. Now they can't even make their car payments on time. And yet motherfuckers are wondering, like, damn, why is the economy so bad? I'm like, really? Is it the economy's bad, or you're just a fucking pendejo? What's really it? Like, what are we really talking about, America? Because again, and I'll go back to my fucking whales and mega whales, and I'll go back on the phone with my sharks and my killer sharks, and we'll be at dinner, we'll be in the phone, we'll be on the fucking, convo, and we're just talking, and they're just still making fun of you guys. Like, fuck, bro, stop spending money on stupid shit, But, the most savage thing I hear is that a lot of my rich people don't want you guys to stop spending money on stupid shit. And a lot of my rich people don't want you guys to ever invest ever again. They don't want you guys to own investments, because they said if everyone keeps investing and everyone keeps buying long-term investments, then eventually everyone's going to get rich and we're not going to have any poor people to work at the business. So if anything, I want all these people to lose everything so that way they can stay my employee for life. And I know that sounds fucked up, but you guys act like the boss at your company doesn't think the same way. So, anyways, America. So, that's kind of where we stand. And that's where we are now in wave 4 of the recession. And I think 6 weeks ago, the Fed came out and the Federal Reserve tried to tell the stock market, like, look, we're not done raising interest rates. We're going to continue to raise interest rates. We're nowhere near done. There is no Fed pause. There is no Fed pivot. There is only more interest rate hikes on the way. Inflation's coming down a little bit, but it's nowhere near where we need it to be. It's nowhere near where we want it to be. And we told you bitches from the jump, we aren't going to stop until we absolutely destroy inflation in complete and total totality. We are nowhere near there. Yes, it's been coming down for like 1 month. Whoop-de-fucking-do. But that is not enough for us to stop, take our foot off the pedal. So, going into November, going into December, going into January, going into February, we're going to continue to raise interest rates, and we're going to go higher and higher and higher and higher. And guess what mortgage rates are going to do? They're going to go higher and higher and higher and higher. And guess what all the stocks, crypto, real estate, assets, Bitcoin, guess what all that's going to do? It's going to go lower and lower and lower and lower. Because we still have too many open jobs at McDonald's. We still have too many open jobs at Subway. We still have too many open jobs at Foot Locker. We still have too many jobs at fucking Burger King. We still have too many open jobs at the fucking 7-Eleven. And I need people to do those jobs. And this is what I tell you guys about the labor market. The most fucking insane shit I see happening right now in the labor markets is that I see 2 things right now in this economy. One, I've never seen this many 20 and 30-year-old millionaires in my life. But I could also say I've never seen this many people who are 50, 60, and 70 years old still working at a fucking cashier. Let me say that again. I've never seen this many 20 and 30-year-old millionaires in my life, and I've also never seen this many 50, 60, and 70-year-olds who are still working. And that's the fucking conflict, is that the Federal Reserve says, I don't care who does the job. I don't need the 20 and 30-year-old to do it. If the 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old wants to do it, that's fine. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck who does that job. But somebody's going to work at that fucking drive-thru. Somebody's going to work at that gas station. And somebody's going to work on their hands and fucking knees. I don't know who it is, and I don't care who it is. I don't give a fuck. But somebody's going to do it. And I think you see a generational divide now, where you're seeing a lot of people who are 20, 30, 40 years old who understand about investing, understand about how money works, understand how to make money work for you. And these people are just stacking their portfolios, and they keep getting, higher and higher portfolios, and they're buying. And I think in the next 5 years, these millionaires are going to go multi and become multi-millionaires. Meanwhile, a lot of these older people who never learned about money, never learned about investing, and never learned about, how to build wealth and build a portfolio, now you're seeing people who are 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, and a lot of these people are people in your families and people in your life, right? And these people were never taught how to invest. They never were taught, the importance of investing. They were never taught how to save up for retirement. The only thing they ever knew how to do was wake up and go to work. And these people are still working, and they're going to continue to work because no one's teaching them about money. No one's helping them with their retirement account. No one's helping them save up for retirement. And so now you see more people than you've ever seen who are 50, 60, 70 years old, and they're starting to realize, like, fuck, things are just continue to get more expensive. I keep working on my hands and knees, and I feel like I'm not getting ahead in life. I feel like 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. And it's like, yeah, bro, 1 + 1 does equal 2. The problem is, like, you never learned how to add because you never learned how to invest. So I think that's the story right now of the U.S. economy is you're seeing a lot of older Americans who are still working or are coming out of retirement to go back to work because they need the money and Social Security is not enough to live off anymore, not that it ever was. And you're going to continue to see people who are 50, 60, 70 years old still working at Walmart, still working at Target, and still working at Costco and Dollar General and Dollar Tree because they need the money and, either they never invested or they started investing too late. And so I think a lot of these people are going to be the future of the workforce until the day they die. And I don't say that to be funny. I say that, as the reality, the harsh reality of the workforce and the economy that we see today. Meanwhile, you see a lot of 20 and 30-year-old fucking Sanganos running around in Lamborghinis and Bugattis because they learned about investing when they were 16. They learned about investing when they were 17. They learned about Bitcoin 10 years ago, not 10 days ago. They learned about altcoins and crypto 5 years ago, not 5 months ago. And so a lot of these people who got in early and a lot of these people who got in at super cheap prices and a lot of people who were investing, 10 years ago in Tesla stock like me, we're like, hey, bro, I'm sorry that I have all this money and I've been stacking my portfolio for 10 years and I've been building my wealth for 10 years. And I'm sorry that I started doing this, when I was in my 20s and not when I was in my 50s. But bro, that's not on me. That's on you too, And so, I think that's what you're starting to see. You're starting to see a separation between generations. You're starting to see a generation of investors who are in their 20s and 30s, and they understand how to invest. They understand how to buy crypto, how to buy Bitcoin, how to buy real estate. They understand how to start a business, especially now with things like YouTube, where like you can go on YouTube and pretty much learn anything now. So you're seeing a lot of, young millennials and even Gen Zs, if I'm being honest, who are fucking 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, and they're already talking about building an LLC. They're talking about investing here. They're talking about investing there. They're talking about day trading, swing trading, momentum trading, learning how to read charts, how to do this, how to do that. And you're seeing people who are 17, 18, 19 years old, all the way up to like 30, 31 years old, and they're investing. They're compounding their wealth. They're compounding their portfolio. They're building their wealth and they're building their portfolio and they're saving up for the future. They're investing for the future because they know they don't want to end up like their dad. They don't want to end up like their uncle. They don't want to end up like these older men in their life who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s still working paycheck to paycheck, hands on their fucking knees. They don't want to do that. They don't want to end up like that in life. They want to retire early so they can travel the world, so they can fuck bad bitches every night, so they can do this, so they can do that. And some of them, honestly, it's not even about traveling the world or fucking bad bitches in the club. For some of them, they just want to buy some land. For some of them, they just want to provide a better life for their kids. For some of them, they just want to be able to relax when they're older and not feel the pressure of still drowning in debt and trying to pay off debt. And a lot of them just want fucking happiness in life. A lot of them just want financial freedom in life. A lot of them just want to have a stress-free life. And so you're starting to see a lot of people who are very early and very young, and they're starting off like, straight out the gate, and they're just investing, and they're learning about investing, and they're learning about different things they can do in investing, And so I think that's kind of like what a certain generation looks like. But then you have another generation that's just going to work until they die because they don't really understand how things work. They don't understand how money works, and they don't understand how investments work. And unfortunately, because no one's going to teach them, no one's going to tell them, or they refuse to listen and they refuse to like actually do something with themselves, and they just think that investing's stupid, those are the people who are going to work at fucking McDonald's until they're 85. Because they either just don't care or nobody cares enough to teach them. And that's kind of where we are right now in the world, where we are in society, and where we are in the economy. So with that being said, next 6 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, I expect, I expect the December Federal Reserve meeting when they come out, I think around December 15th. I think they're going to raise interest rates again. I don't even give a fuck if it's 50 basis points, 75 basis points, 25 basis points. I don't give a fuck. Because what I'm here to tell you is when we go into 2023, they're going to keep raising interest rates. And they're going to keep going higher and higher and higher and fucking higher. Because I swear to fucking God, America, mark my fucking words and remember this to the day I fucking die. Interest rates will continue to go through the motherfucking roof. I'm here to tell you interest rates and mortgage rates are going to go through the motherfucking roof. And some of you bitches didn't believe me in the summer. Some of you bitches didn't believe me in the fall. And now, even through the intense, insane amount of pain we're starting to see in American household debt and American household savings rates, some of you still don't fucking believe me. But it's okay. Sometimes I don't think I want any of you to believe me. Because sometimes I think my rich friends are right. Sometimes I think they're telling the truth. That maybe I should stop helping people learn how to invest. Because maybe, just maybe, we do need a certain amount of people to work on their hands and knees. Because not everyone could be a millionaire. We need people who work paycheck to paycheck. And we need people who serve us food, who pick up our trash, who clean our cars. We need people who work for us. We need people to bend over backwards so I can live a better life, so my kids can live a better life. And maybe that makes me an asshole. Or maybe that just makes me someone who understands the way money works and how the world works. So ladies and gentlemen, you can keep listening to your broke ass homies. You can keep listening to all these people that got no money in their bank account. And you can keep listening to people who have no money in their portfolio. Or you can listen to people like me who talk to nothing but millionaires and billionaires. And we'll fucking tell you, this economy is going to continue to crash. These interest rates are going to continue to skyrocket. And people are going to continue to lose everything they ever worked for. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to be a millionaire? You want to go multi? You want to have that life that you always fucking wanted? You want to provide that life for your family that you always wanted? It's really fucking simple. The millionaires already told you the playbook. You just need to fucking listen. Step 1. Stop spending your fucking money on stupid fucking shit, you stupid bitch ass motherfuckers. Step 2. You buy, you hold. You buy some more, you hold longer. You buy even more, and you hold even longer. Because at the end of the day, we all know Tesla's going to go higher for the next 10 years. Apple's not going to stop making phones for $5 and selling them for $5,000. Microsoft and Google aren't going anywhere. Microchips are still the backbone for all future technology and innovation in the world. Quantum computers and fucking solid state batteries are the future of the world. Everything I tell you to invest in, everything I tell you to buy, it's not because they're just changing the world. It's because they're changing the future of the world and the way we're going to live our lives in the world. Everything's going electric. Buying charging station now is the easiest fucking millionaire move you can make. Ladies and gentlemen, all you have to do is buy and fucking hold. But some of you bitches don't give a fuck about the future. Some of you bitches just give a fuck where you're going this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for listening to the one, the only, the motherfucking general. I'm willing to take you to war. I'm willing to lead you in war. But none of that matters if you don't have the cojones to pull the fucking trigger when we show up to war. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. And welcome back to Magallon Entertainment! Prepare for fucking war.
train, I speak it every day. I'm trying to get it poppin', each and every way. It's one nation, under goons. My goons are stripping all these cats down in the underworld.